Hi everyone, the Lone Wolf here. Welcome back for some more EVE Online, and in today's video, well, we are going to start, of course, with the end of Dital. You can already see that they've been going after my structures over here. This was the manufacturing writer. It's been destroyed, and it probably has a decent amount of loot, because I think there's a decent amount of people that were actually using this facility. It also has the structure core and some fuel, because I had fueled all of my structures for a reasonable amount of time. Not that long before we were hit by the war deck, and honestly I think I got all the important stuff out, so I was kind of okay with what was left inside the structures. Next up here you can see that they're attacking the Asbel, and they're also going after the Wolf's Den, where I got on a couple of mails of people that have some jump clones in there. Yeah, sorry guys, once the armor timer is gone, all services go offline. There's not much I can do about that, and so that is why we actually have some drops happening for the Raitaru, and that some jump clones will be lost as the Wolves Den will be destroyed. Now the research Raitaru is already down, as is the Moonbase Alpha, so I've been getting these notifications. First time that I actually see this, but alright. And so you can see here, first they went after Moonbase Alpha, that was destroyed. Then they went after the research station, which actually had some of the corporate assets moved to asset safety. Not sure what I left behind there, can't be anything too important, and besides it moved to asset safety, so it's really jobs that are running, fuel and the cores that become the drops for these structures. After that they took down manufacturing, and then they started working on the Wolves Den and the Grand Bazaar. So before I get started on taking a look at the enemy forces on the field, which are pretty damn impressive, I also want to thank all of you guys for all of the support that you've been offering, both, you know, trying to get me to mount a defense, trying to get me to perhaps hire mercenaries or things like that. But I also want to show here that this is not a small fleet. This is a pretty serious force that is taking down my structures, and I think it would have been very hard for you know, smaller groups of, I would say mostly individual players that offered their support, to put a dent into this, especially what's happening here on the Asbel. This is a nice ball of Leshaks, and I'm like 90% sure, I've been observing them a little bit, they even like had cap transfers going, so I'm like 90% sure that these guys are actually spider tanked as well. No real way for us to go after something like this. On top of that, they're pretty careful. I went after one of their stealth bombers in my stealth bombers, and so now I've actually seen some interceptors and things like that fly around here as well. Look at that here, we got a malediction flying around, we got a claw flying around. So even if we were to try stuff in smaller ships, they're ready for that as well. Yeah, this is something that can always happen in EVE Online, guys. So while I appreciate all the offers for support and to come in and defend here, I kind of decided that no, this was going to be the end of the chapter for Dital. This is also showing the perspective of a solo player, right? If you're a solo player and you decide to go big with a large structure with other structures, you know, rule number one, guys, don't deploy and don't fly what you can't afford to lose. And for me, that's exactly what this was. This was an amazing project. I will never forget my time in Dital, and I kind of hope that having kept these services up and running for like a couple of years at this point will have helped some newer players out there find their way into EVE Online. But to end the chapter, I think it is only suitable that I show you guys what can happen to smaller groups when a large group decides that it's time for you to move on. This is exactly, you know, it's an unstoppable force. We can basically do next to nothing. And I would say that even if we were able to mount a defense against this force for this timer, they would be back again, more organized, perhaps with more help and things like that. I would say we would have been able to perhaps delay the inevitable a little bit, although looking at this fleet here, I would say that that would still be a very, very slim chance for us to do that. Yeah, you have to accept at some point that this is EVE Online, this is not the World of Warcraft, this is not Hello Kitty Online, this is a true sandbox, and a larger, more organized group, a more determined group will always have a massive edge over a smaller group or, like myself, a solo player. And that means that rather than being stubborn and feeling bad about what's happening here, it's more important for the smaller groups to be nimble, to be able to get back on their feet, find some other things to do, set your new goals in EVE Online, and that's exactly what I'm planning to do in the next chapter. Now we're gonna watch the explosion of the Asbel. This is gonna be like the biggest asset here. With a nice score for them to drop, but yeah, all my stuff is outside of maybe a couple of small market transactions like some ammo or so. There's some stuff that I didn't even want to bother moving anymore. So that's gonna be pretty damn cool. I hope, let's hope that it's a cool explosion at least, that we can end with some nice fireworks here in Dital. Yeah, this is the state of the situation, guys. This is a sizable fleet. This is a lot of time and effort that these players are putting into getting rid of my structures. And I also want to, kind of confirm. I feel like I'm 99% sure that this is correct. This is not about me. This is not about the exposure that I got from the channel. This is not even about ISK. This is about what's happening in Providence. And there's a shift in politics in the sandbox, and that basically has consequences in the systems around there. And Dital, of course, is the gateway to KBP, to the first system in Providence. And as a result, yeah, these groups want control of that. And so that's exactly what they're working on right here. This is part of a much larger operation and kind of becomes inevitable at that point. So yeah, as we are seeing the final bit of the structure for the Asbel melt away when it comes to these Leshaks blasting away at it, this is gonna be my goodbye to Dital, guys. It was bound to happen, and here it is. There's the internal explosions. I tried to evacuate as many civilians from this as well. I got all of my stuff out, and we always put as many civilians in the in the ships as well. But yeah, some people unfortunately will be remaining back here to as capsuleers. This is not that big a deal. Of course, we are after all heartless immortals, and there it blows. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of civilian casualties as the Asbel is gone, and there is the loot wreck. I wonder if anyone is going to come in to try and snag that away. We saw that the enemy has like freighters. There's an ARC there, for instance, that's still working on the loot from the manufacturing Raiteru. Yeah, I think some people were using it for some rather big projects. But there it goes, some debris flying around my cloak chip as the enemy has done its work here, and the Asbel goes down. We're still a little bit away from this one to drop, but the rest of the fleet I think is bouncing to the Wolves Den as well. Do we want to see that explosion? We're 8 minutes in. How long do you think? They've actually been going for quite a bit longer. Yeah, all right. This was the big explosion, guys, and you can clearly see that they're going to go after all of the structures that I have. This ends the Dital adventure. I'm also a little bit curious to know what happens with the war deck after they have destroyed all of my structures. I'm not sure if you're without structures, do you go into like a 24-hour timer or something like that, or do you like ride that that war deck out? I am not sure, but yeah, goodbye Dital, goodbye Planet 1, I think it is there, good old gas planet that has been in the background of so many videos there. Yeah, this is it. We are leaving Dital and we are heading towards our next chapter in EVE Online. So I didn't only receive support and offers for support for defense, but I actually received a couple of donations. Now, guys, I absolutely appreciate it, but this is not needed. I'm really not in need of ISK at the moment. Look at that, I got a wallet with 100 billion ISK, so we are absolutely fine. All of the important stuff, like 99% of the stuff actually, because you saw that just blew up, and I got... oh yeah, some assets have moved. I kind of wonder what this is. I think it was like some ammo and things like that. So almost nothing was lost, and whatever is lost actually moves to the asset safety system as well. So it's not like I lose that much more than the structures, the cores, and the fuels that was in it. And here is, of course, the closest NPC station. Here is where I put my stuff. So if I'm towed in the station, we can take a quick look at that. So I've got another 16 billion ISK in ships here. We get another 20 billion ISK in assets. We get a whole library of smaller blueprints. And this is just basically the remains of the Dital operation. We still have a base of operation with everything that we need for PvE activities in Galente space, in Solitudes. I've got some extra stuff that I'm working on in a Caldari system as well. Overall, I'm more than ready to bounce back right away and to get into the next chapter for EVE Online. And I actually decided on this ship. And it is going to be a nomadic experience in the Orca at first. So I'm not going to get right away back into building structures and things like that. We're going to live in a nomadic lifestyle from the Orca. And my first destination is going to be Minmatar space. I never spent a prolonged periods of time in Minmatar space. I'm curious as to the combat sites that are there, what exploration feels like there, if there's like lots of sites that we can find or just not a lot of sites, what kind of population is there. So that's going to be my first mission. We're going to take the Orca. We're going to take that because it of course has this ship maintenance bay. So we're going to take the Orca. I'm planning for now to use the Testudo Gila, then the Synesis, which I'm going to fit into a transport ship. Then the Dramiel, if I would decide on some blueprint stuff, I could easily move them with that. The Ishtar for data and relic sites, and perhaps for, you know, trying an untagged chip into the exploration sites. And then we've got a press camera and an interceptor that can go through bubbles if I want to go take a look at what's happening, perhaps in Losec, in nearby Nullsec and things like that. That's actually the ship that I tend to use for that. And that's pretty damn amazing, right? This is like a big backup capability that you have in just a single ship. You have your Orca, so you can mine as well. Just find a compression facility and you're good to go. And you can take some ships there for your other activities. And you're mobile, you're ready for that lifestyle, as the Wolves Den has also been destroyed with normally no message from stuff going into asset safety. Yep, that one was completely empty. So there you go, guys. This is going to be the true final chapter for Dital, and this is my first plan here when it comes to what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna live nomadically a little bit, and I'm gonna explore Minmatar space in the Orca with these other ships as well. Again, thank you very much for your support. Some of you guys have already offered me spots in C2 wormholes, in Galente space, in other places. For now, you guys know I'm mostly a solo player. I tend to like to do what I want to do and what I personally choose to do. And so for now, it is going to be this. And after that, we will see. There's still an endless number of possibilities in the sandbox of EVE Online. And yeah, onwards, let's actually look at it this way, onwards to the future. And I'm not going to undock under this war deck, but to the future, guys, and to the next chapters in EVE Online. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time.